Okay, so well, ladies and gents, I have clearly just been in a reading mood, which is good or bad depending on how you look at it. Okay, I was sick last night. I'm not gonna lie, I was sick. So I wasn't really gonna study to begin with today, so I guess that's no great loss. I finished it. Clockwork Prince. I started it last night and got up to there. That's where the bookmark is. That was page 136. And then the rest of today, I fat marathoned until I finished. And now I just want to immediately jump into City of Lost Souls so that I can get to Clockwork Princess. Because, oh my goodness, this was amazing. Okay, this book, okay, they do not exaggerate. I thought maybe there was some blinders on because I'll admit the guys in it are pretty awesome. But no, the story itself is amazing. I'm like, damn, Cassie Claire, why didn't you start with these? Because this is awesome. And if everyone read these books, I haven't finished it obviously, but I'm assuming Clockwork Princess is just as fabulous. Read these before they read City of Bones, they would love this world that she built, because it is so good, and the story is compelling, and the characters are wonderful, and it's so good. So good. And, yeah, so... and also Jem, who's on the front of this, is just a fabulous and wonderful human being and deserves all of the happiness. Rainbows and puppies. We will figure out a cure for you. I think I know what it is, but I'm not 100% positive. Because I did read the Bane Chronicles. Because I love Magnus Bane, and I'm pretty sure that spoils what happens to Jem in it, if I'm remembering correctly. But still, watching them figure that out is going to be interesting. And I am consistently getting surprised by things in this. Despite, I thought I'd been spoiled for a lot of things for this series, but no, I'm consistently surprised. Okay, first things first. 1, spoilers! I will put that in the title, but if you did not read the title properly, spoilers! Because I can't do a review for this book without doing spoilers. I'm sorry, it's just too fabulous. Okay, so... Will's family is alive. His family is alive. I did not know this. I thought they were dead. And I know I read the special edition of Clockwork Angel, and that does have a picture of someone called Cicely Herondale in it, but I thought that was like a cousin or something. No, it turns out it's his sister, and she's alive. And I'm like, is anyone dead? And it turns out his older sister is dead. And I'm like, oh, okay. But, so much happened in this book. So much happened. But before we get into it, first things first. Charlotte Fairchild Branwell, whatever you want to call her, is my queen. I love her. She's just, And Henry Branwell is my favorite character in this entire franchise. That includes the Mortal Instruments ones too. Henry Branwell, favorite. He's just so precious. Anyway, okay, let's get into this discussion. Because I need to go eat something. Okay. So, ghosts are now a thing, apparently. I did not realize that they existed, but apparently they do. And Will can talk to them. Apparently only some Shadowhunters can, but it seems like Will can. And I think so can Jessamine, from what she was saying. He's Magnus's little errand boy in the beginning. And Old Mole is this ghost that he talks to, seems like a card. Like, she seems like he'd be a blast. Also, Will wants an indifference potion for himself. I guess he really likes Tessa. Yeah. I like Consul Wayland. I like him. I do. I really do like him. Benedict can go suck an egg, challenging Charlotte using her gender as a reason. Permission to castrate this man. And later on, you really want to castrate him. And he finds out what he uses that area for. And then his sons are to be joining the Institute. Yay! Woohoo! That was my attitude at the time. It does change later on, but Jem is a sweetie pie. Tessa is fabulous, always. Always fabulous. Always. Will is a douche at this point, but later on we find out the reason for his douchiness, and you're like, okay, this actually makes sense. Jessamine is useless. This just continues. She's always useless. Tom... I'm still sad. I'm still upset about Thomas. His brother is to be joining them, and apparently he looks a lot like Thomas. And I'm like, oh, that's going to be upsetting for everyone involved. Tessa and Sophie are being trained by the Lightwood brothers, and I'm like, yay! Training, let's get some training. Sorry, Erwin just fell off the shelf. Apparently I got too excited with my bouncing and she just could not stay up. Stay. Okay, Charlotte and Henry are just so cute. Like, so cute. They're so cute. I love them. The Scooby Gang is researching Mortimer and just trying to figure out what he's up to, and I figured out it's Mortimer, not Mordain, which is what I've been saying. Sorry. Henry is adorable. He's so adorable. Oh, Charlotte is stressed. Tien, fair enough. They want to take her position as the head of the Institute away from her, and I'm like, we do that. We're basically giving the Institute the Mortimer. Sorry, it's one of those things. Jem and Tessa were getting closer throughout this book, and I was just like, ooh. Will is apparently cursed, and Magnus is attempting to summon the demon that did it. I still love Magnus. Magnus is always fabulous. Love Sophie. Poor thing has a crush on Jem, though Jem likes Tessa. I'm like, sweetie, you deserve all the happiness. Okay, Jem doesn't like you that way. We need to find you someone who does and will treat you like the queen you are, because you are wonderful and marvelous. Also, I love Jem. Jessamine is up to something. Like, she's going to places dressed in men's clothing, and this is freaking Jessamine we're talking about. She doesn't... Apparently, Shadowhunters murdered Mortaine's warlock parents unjustly. At least that's what he thinks. Lightwoods have arrived, and so training begins. Cyril Tanner looks just like, looks just like his brother. Bridget, who's the new cook, is Irish and kind of badass and a good cook. Also, she sings a lot. Peter, I'm doing something. Sorry, my brother just knocked on the door. He's cooking me burgers, isn't he a sweetheart? Where was I? Lightwood's... Oh, and yeah, Bridget keeps singing these really morbid songs. Like, they're so morbid. I'm like, sweetheart, could we have a sea shanty or something? Let's liven it up a little bit, darling. A lead is found. Will and Tessa discuss books, more training. Gideon seems rather disillusioned with his father. This is when I started to like Gideon. It's a long train ride for our trio, filled with much chatter, because they have to go to York, because apparently that's where Mortimer's old house is, and hopefully there's a lead, and they want to talk to the head of the York Institute, because he was probably alive during that time, and may have known why his parents were killed, and that could lead us to more clues. There's lots of information about parabatize, and they sound awesome, though apparently it's forbidden to fall in love with each other. I don't know why that is, but apparently it is. Gottschall's warning does not fill me with confidence. Gottschall was this Starkweather's dude. That's the guy who's the head of the Institute in York's chauffeur. And he warned. Okay. And Tessa's pretending to be Jem's fiancé. Then Aloysius? I'm just going to call him Starkweather. Sounds like an obstinate man. And he was horrible. He had a whole room filled with spoils he took from innocent warlocks. Okay. Presumably not all of them were innocent, but it's still horrible. You don't keep body parts around like trophies. Are you demented? Poor Tessa. Will is exhausting. that just sums up just about every interaction with that man. Book of the White? Okay, that keeps getting mentioned as, like, this really powerful spell book, and I remember it being mentioned in, like, City of Glass, but I don't exactly get what the big deal is. Who the heck is Cicely? Well, I said before, it's his freaking sister! And she's alive! Mortimain has Will's family? Yeah, they're living in Mortimain's old house. And I'm like, okay, how is this man always 2 steps ahead? And I really hate him. Okay, Will's curse is messed up and sounding more legit. I mean, his sister died. Basically, anyone who loves him will die, but still, it was a demon, never trust what they say. And later on, am I proved right, he didn't have enough strength to actually put a curse on Will, so the curse didn't exist. He actually stabbed his sister, and that's why she died. And I'm like, so Will has been suffering for nothing. Nothing! Because basically what he did is he'd push everyone away so no one would love him so they wouldn't die. Now we found out he's been doing that for nothing. Tessa has to transform into the Starkweather bloke. That didn't go well. Yeah, because Mortimain's father created the original Clockworks and called him the Clockwork Prince. I suppose that's where we get the name. And that's how we found out. But unfortunately, Starkweather is senile, so his thought process is not exactly easy to go through. And he was sort of shocked when he saw Tessa. Like, he was shocked. And then later on at the end of the book, he tries to talk to her again to check that she's okay. And everyone's like, the F, he hates downworlders. But I'm thinking, because, like, in this book, okay, it was said several times over, they don't think it's true, like, that Tessa's mother was a shadow hunter and father was a demon. Maybe her mother was related to the Starkweathers, and that's why he looks like he sees a ghost every time he sees her. But I don't know. I honestly have no idea who her shadow hunter mother is. I'm thinking Starkweather, but I could be wrong. Trouble brewing in the Lightwood family. The sister's coming home, apparently. I think I like Gideon, and something is brewing between him and Sophie. Ragnar Fell was here, y'all. He's gonna check on Will's family. Honestly, it was lovely to see Ragnar alive. Darling, it was good to see you. Jem and Tessa head off to find Will. And, oh boy, Will had drugged himself, so naturally Jem's furious over this because he feels like Will was making fun of him. Jem and Tessa made out. It was rather intense. What on earth is Jessamine up to? Yeah, you find that out. Okay, so Gabriel is such a daddy's boy. Apparently there's a blood feud between the Fairchilds and the Lightwoods. Something about his uncle killing himself, fell in love with his parasites, forbidden, and their mother dying of grief. Also, Sophie slapped him. Yes, we stand a legend. Gideon, it's officially lovely, so rational. Him and Sophie share a lovely, sweet moment. Tessa calls Will out on his treatment of Jem. We stand another legend. Wolsey Scott reminds me a little of Magnus. I rather like him. Wolsey Scott is the head of the werewolf pack in London, and he's fabulous, and he does flirt with everything, and he's apparently very well travelled. I'm just like, honestly, but I like you. Charlotte, as always, is a legend. Henry is still adorable. Jasmine is an idiot. She was sneaking around with freaking Nate. Like, that's a good idea. That man is a snake. Sophie is becoming a bump. She knocks out Jessamine with a freaking mirror. It was brilliant. Will and Tessa head off to a masquerade ball, because it turns out that's where Jessamine is meeting Nate, so Tessa goes in disguise as Jessamine. And also, Will and Jem talked and repaired the relationship. Honestly, I love their bromance. Jessie is married to Nate. She married the idiot. Is she ridiculous? And planting evidence on Tessa. She put the Book of the White in her room. I was just like, seriously. And then Benedict is working with Mortimain. Also, he likes demon women. There's this woman with snake eyes. It was a whole thing. It was... Magnus is my hero. Will and Tessa made out under the influence of fairy alcohol, kind of. Will's demon appeared, I think. OMG, Tessa's by Shadowhunter, and Jessamine is beyond foolish. Basically, they question her with the mortal sword because if a Shadowhunter touches it, they can't lie, and yeah, we find the whole truth. That she knows. There's a block in her mind, so we don't actually know where Mortimain is. Poor Charlotte. She basically raised Jessamine, and this is how Jessamine thanks her. Cool to see the mortal sword in action. Jessamine to the Silent City, off with you. Magnus has dumped Camille's ass. Yay! Oh, Jem and Tessa, so sweet. Poor Charlotte and Henry. They practically raised these kids. They're gonna trick Nate, hopefully. Jessamine helps? Nominally. A trap is planned. I hope it succeeds. Gideon and Sophie sitting in a tree. Kissing. They have this adorable little picnic here. It's all so cute. No one is prepared for Jem's death. He better not die. Like I said, I think I know what happens, but still. Because we saw someone die of the infant thing, it wasn't pleasant. And then Charlotte saw it, she started crying because she doesn't want to lose Jem. And I'm like, this poor woman. She's only 21, okay? Cut her some slack. Well, I was right. It was a complete catastrophe. Nate's dead. The tragedy. You can see I'm just so upset. Will and Tessa are badly hurt. Everyone else was injured. Like, okay, Charlotte gets knocked out, and then Henry freaking loses it at the Clockwork creature and just goes running at it. And I'm just like, don't tell me he doesn't care about you, Charlotte. Tessa is dreaming away. Everyone else is healed and better. Charlotte doesn't think Henry loves her. Also may lose the Institute. Will's curse was a lie. I knew it. Never trust a demon. All the feels, my God. All the Okay, pages 421 to 423 is Charlotte and Henry, and I just perfection. And then, like, almost immediately after that, Jem and Tessa get engaged, and it's so cute. I'm like, oh. Sadly, Tessa and Sophie run the out, but don't worry, they make up later on, and I'm glad. Also, Will's beginning to show him true self, because he's now free of the curse, so he can show affection for people. A plan is concocted to blackmail Benedict. He has demon pox, gave it to his wife, and she killed herself. Because there's no cure for demon pox. Demon pox eventually turns you into a demon. So, technically he murdered her. With demonic means. For Tessa, I think Will's gonna confess, and she just got engaged to Jem. It's a whole mess. Well, the plan worked, and now Gideon's at the Institute, because Gideon was like, Father, I will not stand by you. I will give evidence. And say that Charlotte should be the head of the Institute. And I'm like, yes! Yes, boy! And then he turns to Gabriel, and he's like, Gabriel, come with me. You don't need to stay with Father. He's like, if I don't, who will? And you're like, don't put this pressure on yourself, boy. Don't put this pressure on yourself. Hopefully that will get resolved in the next book. I want to cry, okay? Poor Will, poor Tessa, poor Jem. This love triangle is beyond tragic. Okay, this is the first time I've actually been invested in a love triangle. Normally I just get irritated with them and very pissed off because one person, clearly it does not belong. Like, okay, in the Mortal Instruments, when Simon liked Clary, like, everyone knew she was gonna end up with Jace. This was just a very tortured thing for poor Simon. But this one, is there a way for all three of them to be together? Just like, I don't know, you all belong together. How does this end happy? I know it does, but how? I have an idea because I've got these tarot cards and these pictures do spoil things on them, and yeah. But still, at this point it isn't happy, and I'm like, I'm supposed to be happy right now. Tess is engaged to Jem, and Will, as much as I'm pretty sure you're going to improve now that you know the curse was false, Jem is a sweetie pie who deserves every happiness. Charlotte won. She's still head of the Institute. Yes, queen! Mortimer now has cameras. Lovely. How is it? This is the 18th century. How does he have a freaking camera? They only just, like, recording camera. They only just figured out the big ones. You know, the thing? I don't know. Charlotte is pregnant. She's pregnant. She's gonna be a mommy. Like, officially. And Henry's reaction was so sweet. Like, he picks her up and starts waltzing. He's just so happy. And when she's proclaimed as head of the Institute, he throws his hat in the air and is like, woo! And I'm like, now that your love for each other is out in the open, you're just so perfect. And then, at the very end, Cicely Herondale has arrived to be trained, and then the girl makes an entrance. So I'm just like, okay. What? Say what now? I just... Oh, honestly, this is all making my head a bit spinny. But yes. 5 out of 5 freaking stars. This book was amazing. I may end up writing out that Henry and Charlotte scene. It was just so perfect. I love them. Anyway, if you've read this book, what bit did you love the best? And how much did you love it? Because if you read it and you didn't love it, I don't know how this is possible. What witchcraft did you use? Because this was amazing. And I want to read Clockwork Princess so badly, but I'm like, no, you can't jump to Clockwork Princess, otherwise you'll never get through City of Lost Souls, because I'm 90% confident that's when Malik breaks up. So I'm not going to enjoy it. And also, I'm just like, okay, yes, Will does have a few of the Herondale traits, but he does not seem to be as stupid as his descendant, Jace. So... But, yes. This was just, like, But there is one glaring concern I have with myself now, because I've just read through 2 of these books in 2 days, and I have no inclination to stop, but I am missing, Lord of Shadows, Queen of Air and Darkness, and Ghost of the Shadowhunter Market. And I know once I get up to Lady Midnight, I'm not going to want to stop. I'm going to want to keep going until I get the freaking chain of gold. Because this is how I get when I get stuck in a series. And I am officially stuck. I don't want to stop. I want to keep going and going. I know I said I'd read Trials of Apollo, and I will. But right now, I'm in Shadowhunter mode, and I don't want to leave. But I don't have enough money. And I'm like... Do I just do it anyway? Do I just use some emergency savings and just order all 3 books? And hope they arrive by the time I get to Lady Midnight. Because at this point, I don't want to stop, and I want to keep going. And it's not like... honestly, what I would do is go to the bookstore and just buy the paperback version until I can save up enough money to get the hardbacks. But the shops are closed. I can't just go and get the paperback version. It's closed. And if I'm going to order it to be shipped, I'm going to order the freaking hardback, even if it's going to cost $40. So you can see I'm in a bit of a conundrum. We're still in lockdown. I think it's ending soon-ish. Maybe. But I don't think it's ending soon enough. I need to talk with my best friend about this. We'll figure it out. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this very nonsensical rant about this amazing book. If you haven't read it, read it. Let me know what you thought. If you enjoyed, like, comment, maybe, and subscribe. My last video will be down here somewhere, and it's City of Fallen Angels book talk. Because, like I said, I'm going a bit Shadowhunter crazy. Alright, bye guys!